Welcome to Slay the Gatekeeper. I'm your host, Courtney Johnson, and I am here to un-gatekeep the gatekept. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Slay the Gatekeeper, where we slay gatekeepers. Okay, if that wasn't self-explanatory enough, let me be very clear. We are slaying the motherfucking gatekeepers. And oh my gosh, guys, as I'm recording this, no joke, there's like an orb that just flew over my head. Are there aliens here? Yes or yes? Guys, we're back for another Q&A episode. You guys loved the last Q&A so much that we get to do another one. And you guys submitted even more questions. And this time, I told y'all to make the questions spicier and crazier. And here we are. So, let's just jump into it. Do you believe money shows up when you're ready or when you finally decide you're worthy of it? This is a weird question because I feel like when you're ready is the worthiness conversation. The truth is, if you cannot accept a compliment, you will not have an easy time accepting money. If you cannot accept an invitation or accept a fun night out or accept a small gesture of appreciation or accept a gift on your birthday, you will not be able to accept and bring in money. Now, you might be thinking, Courtney, this is quite woo-woo. How even does that work? It's because 98% of our decision making happens in the unconscious. And if your unconscious is telling you that it's not safe to have money, that it's not safe to be abundant, or you're more familiar with scarcity, or even addicted to scarcity. Some people get really addicted to the thrill of not knowing where their money, their abundance is going to come from. So until that shifts, it's really, really hard to call in money. So here's an exercise I want you guys to do. Think about what you like about being broke. What do you like about being broke? Is it you really like to be like a damsel in distress? Is it that you really like to have somebody come rescue you? Is it because you really like to be free of responsibilities? Why do you like being broke? That is step one. I know when I was super broke, what I really loved is I really loved that men would pay for everything and I didn't have to pay for it. Now that I make a similar amount of money to my partner, it is more a responsibility to split things, you know? The second step is to identify what you don't want about having money. What do you not want about it? Maybe you don't want the responsibility. Maybe you don't want to have to manage it. Maybe you don't want to have to do more math. Maybe you don't want to have to hire a tax person and hire an accountant and do all of those logistics. Once you've identified what you like about being broke and what you don't want about having money, and you bring that to your awareness, that's when you can fully come into abundance. Because if not, you're living in the unconscious when it comes to manifesting money. And again, manifesting money is not this woo-woo crazy thing. You do get to put in effort. You do get to take inspired action, and it doesn't mean you have to struggle for it. All right, that was a spicy one. Next question. What's the biggest energetic block that keeps people broke even when they're hustling hard? It's their hustling hard. It's because a lot of you guys create a story that in order to have money, you have to hustle hard and you have to be in pain. Now, don't get me wrong. It's like working out, right? In order to be fit, in order to be in shape, you don't have to grind working out every day. You maybe have to walk like 10,000 steps or 7,000 steps. And maybe once a week you go to a yoga class and maybe once a week you go on a hike or something. But you don't have to be in the gym, be at really hard Pilates classes or HIIT classes or like weightlifting all the time to be fit. Now, if you want to be like bodybuilder fit or you want to be super ripped and toned, sure, then you can go crazy. But my point is, you don't have to burn yourself out or hurt yourself in order to be fit or healthy. In the same way, you don't have to burn yourself out or hurt yourself in order to have money. Now, of course, if you want to go athlete level, again, if you want to go athlete level with your training and your physical fitness, you can go athlete level. If you want to go athlete level with your money in your business, you can go athlete level. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way. So understand that you don't have to hustle. Even the top people, they don't necessarily hustle in the way you think that they hustle. They hustle in a way of they're delegating and they're showing up every day. Again, it's the getting fit versus athlete conversation. So stop feeling like you have to hustle while still taking inspired action. And that's when the magic uncovers. Okay, next question regarding abundance. Do you think abundance is earned? I don't think abundance is earned. I think abundance is all of our birthright. Like we are all deserving of abundance. It's not something you need to add on things to yourself to be worthy of. You are already worthy of it. It's just a matter of refining and removing things that are keeping you down. So a lot of times when people are bringing in money, they've got one foot on the gas, hustle, 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 and one foot fully down on the brakes. Now, what happens if you have a foot fully on the gas and a foot fully on the brakes? You're probably not going to go anywhere. Probably going to be in a tire spinning mess. So everybody's foot is already on the gas because you already have everything you need. So the goal here is just to take your foot slowly off of the brake so you can accelerate. You don't necessarily have to do more or be more in order to call in abundance. You already have everything that you need. How do you tell the difference between your intuition and your fear when making big money moves? So your intuition is going to feel calm, it's going to feel centered, it's going to feel grounded, and it might still feel a little bit stretchy. There might be that discomfort or unease. Your fear is gonna be panicked. Your fear is gonna be panicked and very emotionally heightened. So go where you feel peace, not comfort, but peace and groundedness. Okay, this is a really good question. What's the balance of being versus doing when you're calling in money? So one won't happen without the other. You can't just manifest your way into a winning lottery ticket. In fact, thinking you're going to win the lottery is a very like scarcity mentality. You can't just will your way into it and you can't action your way into it. There's a combination of both. Something that I really like to do that really helps my money manifestation is what I call money dates. So these money dates are every Monday and Thursday for about an hour. And I take the time to go through all of my money tasks. It's a very sacred time that I'm committed to creating. Now, if I was avoidant in my finances, if I didn't have scheduled ritual time, if I wasn't putting out offers and testing things out, then I wouldn't be able to call in money. Again, it's not as simple as just thinking money, money, money comes to me so easily and that immediately happens. What you're missing is the shadow work and the undoing of your beliefs, and then the concrete work of actually committing time and space and energy. Again, you don't have to burn yourself out, but you do get to put a blocked time on your calendar to essentially show the universe like your commitment and your follow through and your priorities. Okay, this is a really good question. I don't know how to answer it, so I'll do my best. How does your relationship with risk reflect your relationship with trust? Ooh, this is spicy. So, the more you want to call in, the more money you want to call in, the more abundance you want to call in, the bigger your company grows, the bigger your art grows, the bigger your audience grows, whatever it might be that you are desiring in this lifetime, risk is an essential part of it. And risk is not good or bad. Risk is just a way to get to where you want to go. And in order to call in big money, for example, you get to make big money mistakes. Okay? If you want to make $1 million per year, you're going to make a $10,000 money mistake. You're going to make a $50,000 money mistake. You're going to make a $100,000 money mistake. It is not about being perfect and finding the perfect answer and being right. The mistakes and the risk is a part of the journey. Why? Because let's say you make a $5,000 mistake. You make the wrong hire, you get at some sort of program, it doesn't work, you wasted $5,000, right? You almost get to get comfortable with the mistakes until they're not really a big mistake anymore. For example, let's say you go to a smoothie shop, you order a smoothie and it's $5 and you don't really like the smoothie. It's actually really gross. You didn't read the sign. There's bananas in it and you hate bananas, so you throw it away. Right now, you're probably like, oh, that sucks. I lost $5, but that's fine. right? But you're setting yourself up for risk, and risk can be a really beautiful thing because yes, maybe that smoothie you didn't like because you didn't read it and you learned that you don't like bananas. However, you get to make even more informed decisions and you get luckier risk on the next time because you've analyzed your risk and you know what went right and what went wrong. Again, it's not necessarily a good or bad or value judgment. It's how can you use this data to inform the next thing that you're doing? What is the energetic difference between chasing success and attracting it? Chasing success comes from a victim mentality. Chasing success comes from, I'm not good enough, so I have to prove myself. Chasing success comes from this desperate, like grabby energy, where attracting success comes from a magnetizing energy. So chasing success is almost like chasing dates versus like attracting dates, right? You can be in this desperate energy of like, I need it, I need it, I need it, and be really attached to the outcome, or be in this magnetized energy of the thing that's gonna happen is gonna happen at the perfect right time. So I think a big part of it is just detaching from the results, detaching from how you think it should be, detaching from what you think counts and what you think doesn't count. Guys, we are getting extra super spicy with money. How much of your financial reality is really yours, and how much is inherited belief from your parents? Ooh, not necessarily like parents only. I mean, a lot of your money beliefs actually, let's say you just leave the house, you just finished high school or college or whatever, you're 20 years old and you're going out into the real world. At that point, 90% of your money beliefs is from your parents or your culture. And you get to reprogram those beliefs. So it's pretty high, and you have the choice when you get to be an adult whether you wanna keep those beliefs or you don't. Hypnosis has been really helpful in money beliefs. For me, there's been some times where I have gone through a hypnosis session, and it's very clear these little tiny things that come up. Sometimes the emotional block that's keeping you from making more money is not necessarily like a trauma that happened, it's something that somebody says. For example, maybe you go to a public school and your parents make a comment about the people that go to private school and how they're all snooty. Well, your brain wants to fit in, your brain wants to appease your parents, your brain wants to appease your peers, and so your brain and body is programming you to think that rich people are snooty. That doesn't go away when you get into adulthood. That perpetuates and happens more and more and more. So I would say like 90% of your beliefs are inherited until you decide to change them. Once you get to be an adult, that becomes your responsibility and you can change them. Unless you're in victim mentality and you don't think you can change your beliefs, that's a whole other story. We don't have victims listening to this podcast. Oh my gosh, these keep getting spicier. Hot take on debt. Ooh, yeah. I think debt can be a lot of things. I have gone into debt several times for coaching, programs, investment in my business, investment in myself, and every single time it's paid off. Now, I was what most people would think is irresponsible. I invested a lot of money into my self-development from a very young age that I could not afford. I've been in $30,000 of debt 2 times in my life, and I've been in other numbers of debt, and every single time, it's paid off. Again, it's paid off and it's worth it. I don't recommend this for everyone. You do have to have a really strong conviction of self-trust, and you also have to have a strong conviction of what you are getting is going to be worth it, and also, I think it can work. It can be trust. Because you do need to invest into yourself. And if you're in some dead-end job where you're barely making any money, unless you take a big risk and make a big decision, you're probably not gonna be able to get over that hurdle. So, yeah, I think it can be a good thing. There's also lots of different types of debt. There's like, you take a business course and you put it on like a 0 interest for 1 year credit card and it costs 10 grand and you pay $1,000 every month and you figure it the fuck out. Like a lot of people do that and a lot of people see benefit from it. But I think that um debt is demonized in a way that I don't think it should be. It's not like a moral right or wrong. Rich people use debt all the time. There's different types of debt. There's different ways that you can borrow money. And it obviously can be weaponized and used negatively, but I've used it a ton. I don't regret it at all. And I think if your intuition is like telling you to do something that might put you into temporary debt, maybe consider it. I give you full permission. I get it. You want to create content, but you're stuck. You feel like you start creating content and then you stop, you push and then you pull back. You create this big strategy and you don't actually implement it. And I know you. I know that you have a million content ideas in your notes app that you just haven't actually started to create. This is exactly why I created Content Club. I created Content Club to be a place where you can come and bring all of those ideas and we guide you through the content creation. So, what is Content Club? We meet every single morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. My team and I give you a prompt, we give you brainstorming, we give you coaching support. We all create the content together and we all post together and like and comment and engage on each other's posts. So if you're desiring a community and a container that can help support your content creation and bring you into being a extraordinary and results driven and consistent content creator, I will see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central on Zoom in Content Club. Can abundance and self-sabotage coexist? Yes. They absolutely coexist. There's never a time when you're done self-sabotaging. We always have limiting beliefs that we get to break through. We always have a new level. New level, new devil. Every single time you step up or you try something new or you go to another level in your life, there's going to be new challenges. It's like an infinite onion. There's always more self-discovery. Um there's always more learning, there's always more unlearning, there's always more growing, there's always more to come back to who we really are. And they always coexist. Now, there's like a level where it can't coexist. There's a level of self-sabotage where you're definitely not going to be abundant and it never goes away. You're never fully healed, you're never fully fixed until you realize that you're exactly perfectly where you're supposed to be right now. And that is when everything is perfect. You guys are getting really existential in these questions. Do you think your dream life already exists in another timeline and you're just catching up to it? Yeah, I feel like there's infinite possibilities. Like you can have your dream life right now. It exists. There's some timeline where you're doing it. If the universe is really infinite, then that means there's infinite versions of us, and that means there's infinite timelines. So of course it's a timeline where you're living your dream. And I believe that everybody can live their dream. I believe that we would have a cruel God to put dreams on our hearts if we couldn't actually execute on them, if we couldn't satisfy them. Oh my gosh. This one is so resonant for all my clients. I'm looking at you, clients. I love you. What's the difference between divine timing and procrastination? Yeah, this is like saying what's the difference between your intuition and your limiting beliefs. A lot of times, limiting beliefs are described uh, as intuition. This is how I know. If it is coming from your vision in your dream and your highest self, it's intuition. If it's coming from any sort of fear, any fear at all, it's procrastination. So think about your dream. In your dream, you're speaking on stages, you start that company, you make that dream yoga studio, you make your music, you produce a movie, you whatever you want to do. Think about the version of yourself that exists within that dream where everything is infinitely possible. What would that version of you do? That version that has way more money, way more time, way more resources, is way more confident, what would they do? That is always the right answer. Oh, but Courtney, it doesn't count because blah, 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 blah. It does count. That's your limiting beliefs. Make decisions from the person who has already achieved your dreams. That is the only way to get to your dreams. So your dreams is like your dharmic path. It's why we're here on earth. We are here for a reason because your dream is fucking important, okay? It's fucking important. Everything that stands in the way, and by the way, so you have your dream, and then what's in the gap? If you're not, some people are already living their dream or living a lot of parts of their dream or living one portion of their dream, whatever. But we have you, we have your dream, and then we have the gap. Whatever's in the gap is your work. Okay? That's your divine work in this world to overcome what's in that gap so you can live your dream, so you can create the purpose and impact. What's in the gap is keeping you small. What's in the gap is keeping you from the impact you're meant to create. So, again, if it's coming from the gap, it's not your intuition, it's your limiting beliefs. If it's coming from the vision, it's your intuition. This leads me perfectly into my next question. Do you think our desires are random or are they proof of what's already destined for us? Yeah, I believe personally, we got all sorts of beliefs, but I believe that our dreams are our destiny. Not necessarily that everybody will accomplish their dream, but everybody can accomplish their dream. My dream for the world is that everybody accomplishes their dream. My dream for the world is that everybody lives their dream, and I believe that's possible. Do you? Like, the person that becomes fucking president is the person that's crazy enough and absolutely batshit to think that they can do it. The person that becomes like a rock star athlete is a person that's crazy enough to think that they can do it. The person that writes a book is the person fucking batshit enough to think that they can do it. It's the same way. The person that accomplishes their dream is the person that gets so delusional that they believe that they can do it. That's all. Like, I believe that your dreams are your dharma. Your dreams are your destiny if you choose it. It's not going to magically happen that they're your destiny. If you choose it, if you choose to do the work, if you choose to look in the gap and say, what is in that gap? What am I not seeing? And if you set the intention for that, it will unfold. If you set the intention for, I want to see what's in my gap, show me what's in my gap, it's going to happen. Okay? So, no, our dreams and desires are not random, they are our path. It's really cool. I'm so blessed to do my VIP work because I get to see dreams almost every single day. And all the dreams have patterns. Like, all of the dreams have really similar patterns of wanting health, wealth, relationships, happiness, and impact. Of course, you're meant for health, wealth, relationships, happiness, and impact. But can you look at your shadow and can you get out of your own way? That's the question. Can you get uncomfortable? The only way that happens is through discomfort. Ooh, is it possible to be too attached to the vision board and actually block the blessing? So, your vision board is an energy, right? Let's say on your vision board, you have a book. The book is on your vision board. Do you actually have to write a book to have the energy and the impact of that book? Our intuition, our brain, our subconscious thinks in words and symbols. So, what the mouth sound that might come out to match the desire you have might be book, because that's what we associated with a grouping of words, book. That might not be the exact thing because you might not have the mouth sound for it. For example, when I was younger, my dream was I want to make websites and connect people, and I want to be an actress, and I want to like be on TV. Those are all just mouth sounds for the energy that I was feeling. Now, obviously, the thing that I do is social media. If I was so attached to like actress being on TV, then I would have totally missed this. So yes, there is, it's like, but what is the energy you're actually desiring? And again, the energy I was actually desiring as a kid when I was desiring to be an actress was to talk, to share my message, to be on in front of a camera. And like that's what I'm doing right now. So again, if your desire is book, that is the mouth sound for an intuitive desire of a symbol. So you're desiring a book. How else could that look like? Like, be open to all possibilities. Could that be a Substack? Could that be a journal? Could that be a poetry, right? Does it have to be a book in the way that our brains are assigning? So, yes, there is a point of being too attached to the outcome where you actually miss that the thing is happening to you right now. I had another client that was like, her what came up in her dream was like a beautiful house and a lot of people doing yoga in the house and like a lot of women. And it ended up not necessarily being like a house she was buying, but it was a house that she was renting for an event that she was doing that happened to have yoga and happened to have women. And that was the energy of it. Now, if the true desire is like, yo, Courtney, but I really desire to buy a house and I desire for this to be my property and I desire to host events there, great. You get to get in the energy of that desire and then slowly beef up that energy until you're in the picture you painted. For example, if you really desire a book deal and that is your thing, you get to post on Substack, post blogs, post social media posts of your writing, and then you eventually get a book deal. Like that's how it manifests. But you don't go from zero to book deal. You go from zero to how do I start to get in the energy of this book? And then the energy starts to come and it compounds. A relationship is a great example. Let's say you really desire a romantic partner. They're not just going to show up at your front door and knock on the, I mean, maybe, I don't know. But they're probably not just going to knock on your door and be like, hey, I'm your dream girl or whatever. Right? What actually happens is you get in the energy of that relationship. You are around people that have positive, uplifting relationships. You're going on dates that are healthy and supportive and you're feeling good. You're going to like dating events and getting in the energy of like romantic, right? And that's what brings up the energy because you are in that inspired action. So, everything on your vision board, I challenge you guys to do this today. Go to your vision board, look at every single piece. That vacation, how do I get in the energy of that vacation today? Well, I want to travel with my dog. Great. I'm going to go take my dog. We're going to drive an hour and we're going to go hiking. And that's going to get us in the energy of a beautiful vacation. You want to speak on a stage. How do you get in that energy right now? Maybe you can get in the energy right now by organizing a webinar with 10 people and speaking at that webinar. That's getting you in the energy of speaking. And then that's the first domino that pushes over the other dominoes. Let's say what's on your vision board is a beautiful wardrobe. Can you go thrifting? Or can you go to like a really beautiful bougie store and just try on clothes and be in the energy of like feeling the clothes on your body? The more real you can make it, the easier it is for that domino to fall over. What have you had to let die in your identity in order to allow more love, money, or freedom? My desire to be right, my desire to be special, and my desire to be humble. I had to let all of that go. And again, nothing is ever done, nothing is ever fixed, nothing is ever complete. I'm not saying I'm like perfect and I've fixed all these issues. But what I am saying is I had this really strong desire to be right and for everything to fit my worldview. It was very like coming from a very like ego, know-it-all place where I had my vision of the world and I was creating these self-fulfilling prophecies that I wanted everything else to match my vision of the world, right? And there's 8 billion people in the world. There's 8 billion visions. There's 8 billion versions of the world. And I was so in my ego that I was like, I am right. My worldview is different and better than everybody else's worldview. And that really like kills your empathy. So I had to let that die that I'm right. I had to let it die that I'm special. I talked about this on a previous Slay the Gatekeeper episode with Paul, but I really had this special complex where I'm like, oh, things just don't work for me. It's hard for me. It's easy for everyone else. It's hard for me. And I wanted to be right. Like as humans, we desire to be right. We desire to prove ourselves right. And I was doing that in a really disempowering way. I also really wanted to be right that other people were just like weirdos or other people like I don't know, I had this judgment around like toxic positivity, manifestation. I had this judgment around people that were really self-expressed and what we dislike in others, we either dislike in ourselves or we desire in ourselves. Um, I got to let my victim mentality go. Again, things are happening to me rather than knowing that every single little thing in the entire universe is happening for me. Yeah, and I had to I got to get out of my own way. Oh, and then, humility. Oh my gosh. I was in this humility loop. It's not real humility, it's manufactured fake humility. But, like, I can't put myself out there. It's not all about me, me, me. I can't delegate because I don't wanna seem like a princess. I don't wanna seem like a diva. And in reality, not connected to the bigger picture of the impact that I am meant to have. I'm like, I can't delegate that because I don't want to be a diva. Listen, it's not a diva to delegate something, right? We all have our own unique dreams and we fit together like beautiful puzzle pieces. So I have my dream. I find people that have dreams that overlap with mine and I give them opportunities, right? I give them opportunities and we collaborate together and a puzzle piece fits perfectly. So I realize like I'm not being a diva. I am helping their puzzle piece and I'm helping their dream and they're helping my dream. And it's this beautiful like ecosystem. I have a Patreon episode about this, about dream-based business models. It's really good. You should go listen to it. But you get to get out of your own way. Your message is more important than you feeling uncomfortable because you're not looking humble because you're like posting online. Fuck that. It's not about you, it's about the message. Nobody gives a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about what you're saying or how your hair looks like or whatever. They give a fuck about how you're helping them. We have our final question. Do you believe your purpose is chosen or revealed to you? You know your purpose. Let's be so for real. You know your purpose, you're just ignoring it. You're ignoring it because you're scared. Guys, I help people dream every single day, and the amount of people that cannot even name their desire, they cannot even be witnessed in their desire, it is too uncomfortable. Your true desire is what happens when you have unlimited time, money, access, resources. The laws of physics don't exist. You're in a world of possibilities. We're in our world, but our world is a world of possibilities. What would you do? Would you travel? Would you make art? Would you start a company? Like, would you have a family? Your dream and your path is your desires without limits. We're so used to thinking in limits that you get to dream and you get to name your desires in a place without limits. So, what would you do if you had unlimited time, money, access, resources? You had every single person's phone number in your phone. You could call them. They had to pick up. They would say yes to anything. What would you do? That's it. That's your dream. All right, guys. I'll see y'all next week. I love you. Okay, y'all, if you liked this episode, you would love my Patreon, okay? You get exclusive access to me, exclusive content, tons of other resources, and a lot of juicy shit, okay? So I hope to see you on my Patreon.